What is up, guys? It's that time of the month again. CPI data. Let's get this line fixed up because it's not just yet. It is at 11:30 my time, so right there. We're down on the minute chart for Bitcoin. Now let me know if the audio levels are okay there. How you doing, David? How you doing, Johnny? Johnny? Got half an hour till CPI. Forecast year-over-year CPI, 6.2%. Let's double back and check on this. This is our forecast. Year-over-year CPI forecast 6.2%. Month-over-month forecast 0.5%. And then core CPI month-over-month is 0.4%. We'll see how these numbers come in. Not long to wait now. Now, as far as Bitcoin goes, you can see we're already started to rally up into the CPI results. So much the same as like the last few CPI releases we've had. The market likes to rally into those things. Same with the funds rate, the Fed funds rate decisions as well. So we'll see if the result comes out positive enough to continue this this bullish move up. Now I was looking across to the DXY, and over the past, couple of days, really, the past 24 hours at least has shown a bit of a sliding down, and this huge bounce that we had off the back of some, I think it was some of the earnings details, and also what else was there? There was something else. Anyway, we see that the DXY climbed off the back of that, but made a lower high, somewhat of a double top, you could say, right? And now it is pulling back in the in the lead up and the build up to CPI. So we'll see how that goes. Good morning, Sincere. Hope you guys have got your coffee ready. I had my coffee, my night coffee, about 40 minutes ago, something like that. What's up, Aaron? Good to see you, dude. So yeah, here's the S&P 500, the futures at least. This is down on the 15-minute chart. So yesterday's, let's go to the actual S&P, the SPY chart. You can see yesterday's performance. If I do the breaks, yesterday's performance was a bit of this, a pullback followed by a bounce. So interesting pattern there. So that started at 12:30 a.m. my time. And obviously that market stays open. So the active hours for that, I think it's 7 hours or maybe 6 hours. 6 hours, 15 minutes. Well, probably around that. 6.5 hours, I think. So you can see pre-market is quite elevated. We're already up here testing these highs here, from a couple of days ago, a few days ago, right? This was interesting. So we had a rising wedge type situation going on, and the textbook play would be to expect it to pop down off that, because we headed down into it on a pullback. So But anyway, look what we got instead. We had an inverse head and shoulders. You know, much the same as what we've experienced on Bitcoin recently. Inverse head and shoulders, so enough to put the S&P back on trend. Price to beat, of course, are these highs here for the S&P 500. Obviously, the biggest high we're dealing with is this one lately, the most recent, like week or two. So that's where we're sitting with the stock market. Now let's go back to Bitcoin. Still gaining momentum here. Now, if you guys were around for this morning's stream, or last night's stream for you guys in the US, but I actually streamed at the daily close, and we were talking about this inverse head and shoulders type formation that sort of showed up. Enough to get us a little push up to here. I was talking about a potential push to 22K, but we haven't quite got that yet. But it's certainly on the way. It looks like it's heading in that direction. So we'll see. We'll see how we go. This could be a bit of a buy the hype. Buy the hype, sell the result type thing. Or buy the rumor, sell the news. Buy the hype, sell the result with CPI sometimes. So just be very wary of that. You can get like a bit of a whipsaw action, which is basically like as CPI comes out, there's an initial pump and then a huge dump, and then it rips up again. So you got to be careful of that whipsaw because it can be pretty volatile. And you want to be careful with the amount of leverage that you're using if you're deciding to jump in on this CPI result. So, but yeah, nonetheless, look, the market's heating up. It's looking good. We're almost back to the high range of the weekend that we just came out of. That would be up here, so somewhere above 22K. It would be nice to see us punch through 22K again, get back up on top of things, but yeah, let's just see what the data presents as, or presents us. So popping up onto the hour chart, you can see, sorry, I'm yawning. You can see that we've been bouncing sort of down in some kind of descending or falling wedge, right? Sort of, I guess with the textbook expectation of this, it would be a break to the upside at some stage, but whether we get that on this push, early to say, but it could happen. You know, there's a good case for that to happen. You know, some kind of a breakout of this falling wedge. If not, maybe we do initially rally up and find resistance and then come back down to test the bottom of this wedge at some stage in the future and then break out later down the track, but we'll see. Let's go back down to like the 5 minute. So we've got about 20 minutes to go. 21 minutes, roughly. It's probably going to be a quiet stream, I'm guessing. There's only 13 of us. A lot of people are probably still asleep. But got a couple more people coming through. Boxer Burn, how you doing? Good morning. Aaron says, finally I get to watch you at normal hours. Yeah. Sincere. Let's Mars, g'day. Buy the hype, sell the ripe. Yeah, that kind of works, I suppose. 20 minutes to go, so still a little bit of time. Play it safe, guys. Be careful, don't get caught doing silly stuff. You don't want to be like liquidated or like losing money for no reason, like for no good reason. The cool thing is we dipped well below the November high initially, didn't we? And then we've reacted quite strong off the back of that dip, so it's come up 2.5%. I'm going to jump back to the minute chart here. Let's go full screen. Hide that sidebar. Pull this line across. Fade it out a bit, just so that we can watch the price action without it affecting the wick. I'm going to make it a little wider as well. 4 pixel width. Let's get the opacity of that down. We know it's CPI, so it doesn't have to be too bright. All right. Now, the key thing is we've got to get this ready. This is the Forex Factory website. We need to wait for those little refresh, the pending icons to come up to refresh the data so that we get it as quick as possible. Now we know that the markets like to move even before the data comes out, because I guess the idea is people are taking position before, you want to be in a position for the best return, I suppose, if you think you know what's going to happen. Like, maybe that's the psychology behind that, but yeah, there is a lot of build up and hype leading up to the final minutes of CPI. So, and then you get the result, and then you get the reaction. So interesting. It's always interesting to see. So CPI seems to be the more reactive of the two. When you're talking about the funds rate decision and CPI, I think CPI takes the cake there with sentiment drivers, because if CPI comes out high, we kind of know that the inflation rate or the Fed will react hawkish to something like that, and they would probably adjust rates up again, do more severe hikes. But we haven't been getting that lately. We've seen that inflation has been actually on its way back down, so that's good. We want to see that disinflation continue. S&P pre-market still up. The DXY sort of kind of holding ground at the moment. It's below that that support line here that we got a few examples of support off. Arguably there too. Bit of support action there off it as well over from that side. Almost came up and tested it as resistance there. Definitely punched down through it here. But yeah, this seems to be some kind of significant line. 103 on the DXY. So we're below that now, so that's good. Good start. Let's go back to Bitcoin. So we're still hanging out. About 16 minutes to go, 15 minutes, 16 minutes. Just be prepared for both, be prepared for a huge dump, but also at the same time be prepared for a huge pump. This thing could go anywhere. We don't know Like, I feel like this is one of the more unpredictable CPI figures because recently the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the BLS, did a revision of, I think, a couple of years worth of CPI data. So they've recalibrated a whole bunch of data from the past. And there's speculation out there that that's going to cause an effect or an impact on the current reading that we get. So, the forecast that's out there may be inaccurate. We'll see. It's hard to gauge. Very rarely do we get a forecast being exactly on the money of what we get for CPI. If you look at year over year, it's always either above or below the forecast. Sometimes they nail it, but it's not that often. Like there's four times they got it right with the forecast out of the last, however many this was. But yeah, there's a lot of times it seems like the majority of time is CPI comes in higher than forecast. There are some times you get a positive result, like where it comes in lower than expected. Hopefully that's one of those times. So if we get a red number for year over year, then that's good. That's what that's good for the bulls, right? If we get a green number higher than forecast, that's good for the bears. Good for shorting, because I guess the idea would be that the market dumps off higher inflation figures than expected. So, but yeah, let's just wait and see what we get. Not long now. Not long to wait. It's about 13 minutes or less. So I've been trading something called Bonk. It's an altcoin. It's a shit coin. I've been doing longs and shorts on it and just, milking it, scalping it. So I've been watching it in comparison to Bitcoin. They move kind of similar. This is a handy way to trade alts, like to scalp alts when you're looking at Bitcoin's performance side by side with the altcoin that you're trading. Just because Bitcoin is a highly influential factor with altcoins, right? We all know that. We all know that if Bitcoin starts to dump, you're going to get your alts starting to pull back with it, and some, So a bit of a pullback here at the moment on Bitcoin with, I believe, 12 minutes to go. It is quite exciting. It should cause some volatility, so we'll see. We'll see how this one goes. There's a YouTube short on my channel of one of the CPI results. It had me and Jack reacting to it. So what kind of levels do we have here? We've got our November high down here, and we've got 22K up here. The November high comes in just below $21,500. So 21.5. Starting to get a bit of movement happening now with 10 minutes to go. Let's get this happening like this. Let me just move this off to the side here. And we'll make this come across, if we can do that. Like that. That way we can refresh. We can see the data come in. And I'll try and get it happening as soon as that data comes out. As soon as it pops, I'll be saying the figures, getting that result. Might have to scroll out a little. Let's go this. We just want to start getting those refresh buttons, which will come up soon. Still 10 minutes. Hey Noodle, $2. Thanks, man. Happy dump day. Yeah, it could dump. It very well could. I don't really know what's going to happen. This one I'm sort of confused on. I'm not sure. So I'm not going to call anything. I'm just going to wait and see what happens, which I think is a good idea. It's a good approach. So I think these little refresh wheels will come up about 5 minutes beforehand, potentially. Seems like we've been here before. Pump, then huge dump. Yeah, maybe. We'll see how it goes. A bit of a whipsaw, I think, probably happen, where we rip up and then rip back down and then rip up again. Who knows? Johnny says, you going live to the report, Rick? Yeah, I mean, it's just figures that are coming out, you know. Nothing more than just information is coming out. We don't get any kind of like speech by the chair or anything like that by Jerome Powell. It is just data, these CPI releases. So we'll wait for the refresh. Let's keep refreshing this. There we go. We've got our little refresh buttons. I'll get them over here. See. Obviously nothing's come in just yet. Bitcoin's starting to get a bit shaky, a bit volatile. Let's look across to, I'm going to go to the S&P 500, the futures. Go down to the 1 minute chart. Let's go side by side. Let's get Bitcoin on the left and the S&P futures on the right. So I've got Bitcoin here and then futures can go on this side. And we'll see how they both react. Go full screen on both. We'll make this a little wider. See how far we can squeeze this before we... Cool. So got about 7 minutes to go. Bitcoin's already like pulling back pretty significant. Interestingly enough. S&P 500 kind of static at the moment, not really moving. But yeah, pretty nice pullback there for Bitcoin so far. About 6 minutes to go. Let's see how we go. You can see the volatility of the S&P 500 futures here has been picking up a lot, like pretty spiky, exciting to see. Bitcoin's continuing to pull back here. Oh, now we got a green candle. People are placing their bets, basically. Placing their bets. Let's go back to dark mode here. Okay, so S&P futures starting to go up. Bitcoin's kind of lagging behind there, still down. Futures starting to move. Bitcoin not quite the same highs as it was, you know, half an hour ago. That could all change very quickly. We're less than 4 minutes away now. Let's keep refreshing this. Just imagine if this all came out exactly as forecast. It'd be kind of boring. I want to see some different numbers than these, because then it'll cause more of a reaction, I think. But we'll see. I kind of get the feeling that inflation's going to be, the year over year is going to be higher than 6.2. I just get this gut feeling that it's going to be nasty, but we'll see. I want to keep an open mind. I don't know, obviously. I think the previous CPI was so much easier to predict. It seemed a lot more sure. You know, people were confident in a 6.5. Remember, the previous year-over-year inflation reading is 6.5%. Forecast coming in at 6.2 shows a 0.3% decline off that. So that's really good. That's good. That means disinflation, right? So that's a positive forecast. Got about 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes 15 seconds, something like that. Things are really starting to bounce around now. Two minutes to go, it's no surprise. Start clicking this refresh button with the off chance that they put it out a little early. I doubt it, but usually you see it take off before this information comes live to Forex Factory. Like maybe there's other websites that get it early. But yeah, look, we got a minute to go, just over a minute. See what they bring. Go, final minute. Bitcoin's on the move, so is the S&P futures. Whoa, look at this, it's very volatile right now, as usual, right, with CPI. Keep hitting refresh here, about 30 seconds to go now. It is all over the place. This is why it's very dangerous trading high leverage on these data releases, especially CPI, right? A lot of speculation, a lot of gambling going on right now. We got 10 seconds left. Here we go. All right, we should get that figure coming up soon. Okay, whoop, big dump, big pullback. All right, so far big pullback. What do we got? 6.4. Ooh, that's nasty. Okay. That's bearish. That's not good. So this would be likely to be a corrective move. Okay, month over month came out as predicted, 0.5. And so did core CPI, 0.4 came out as predicted, 0.4. But look, a 6.4 off the back of a 6.2 forecast is negative. We don't want that. That shows, I mean, it's still a decrease, but only by 0.1% off the previous reading. So kind of like a flat reading. The market doesn't seem to like it initially here. We'll just see how it settles in though. But that's a pretty big candle. That's a pretty big pullback there. Almost 0.5% for the futures, S&P futures there. So there you have it, 6.4%, guys. I'm going to close this window and we'll go back to full screen here for these two. We're just going to watch how it sort of pans out. But yeah, pretty overall kind of like a negative result, I suppose. Still a decrease though, technically, on inflation, right? Well, S&P's recovering that dump candle. This is the whipsaw effect, guys. I think overall it's going to come back down, but yeah, you've got to be careful of these because I think initially it goes in the direction that it's going to go in, and then you get this massive rip in the opposite direction, followed by the true direction. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. It could be unpredictable. Maybe this pumps. We just don't know yet. But see how we go. Bitcoin's almost back to where it started. S&P is pumping now. Interesting. Okay. You've got to be quick. Let's zoom out to like the 5-minute chart so that we can get a bit of perspective. Maybe the 15-minute chart. Yeah, look at that. That's crazy volatility on the S&P just from one candle there. It will, yeah, a decrease. I mean, it's a decrease on inflation nonetheless by 0.1%. It's not the quite as aggressive as a decrease as we were hoping for, but yeah, definitely higher than forecast though, which is sad. But oh well, gotta take it as it comes. Interesting result. Huge wick on Bitcoin. I mean, let me hide this line here. Let's just get this back to how it was, and then I'll hide it. Should be able to enter the result too. Oh, I'll do that later. I'll just hide it for now. What do we want? We want to go to events and just hide events. Okay, there we go. So I'm guessing NASDAQ was probably quite similar. The US 100 is NASDAQ. This is the Dow Jones, US 30. So 30, 100, 500. All reacting fairly similar. Huge Darth Maul lightsaber type candle. Small body, huge long wicks either side. Interesting result, right? I had a feeling that it was going to come out higher than forecast. I just had this hunch. Interesting to see the month over month results were as forecast though. They were bang on, right? 0.4 and a 0.5 for core. 0.5 for month over month, and then 0.4 for core month over month. So bang on forecast. This one came in green though, which is historically a bearish result. But look, there's been times we've had higher than expected results and the market has pumped, which is really weird too. So yeah, let's just see what we get. See what happens. I'm gonna jump across to the S&P 500. So that's just the SPY chart, because that shows pre-market, the pre-market level. So the market doesn't open for another hour. Pre-market's still up, of course. These vertical columns just depict each trading day. So this was last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then we've had the Monday activity here, and then Tuesday was here. Or is it? No, wait, this was Friday. This was Monday. Monday is what we had yesterday, of course. So yeah, it's oh, by the way, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day. God, let's go down to like the minute chart. Look at that volatility on Bitcoin. It's crazy. Even the S&P futures, crazy. Crazy. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. Was the result, the forecast, and then the reaction it has to the market. So we'll let it settle for a little more, and then I'll wrap it up. I think so. Probably gonna probably do a stream tomorrow morning, like my time. So like your regular stream time, daily close. So we'll sort of get a chance to talk about how the stock market and the crypto market both settled into whatever trend happens post CPI, now that we have it. We all know that the market, there goes an alarm. The market likes to whipsaw on these data releases. So we kind of got that, that was predictable. Got a bit of action in both directions. So at least, especially with the S&P 500, it ripped up quite high, and then after, initially dropping quite low. So there you have it. We're still kind of elevated, This was our low a few hours ago, right? We had since rallied up, and we're still sort of like trying to hold ground. It's still volatile as hell. Like, it's early to say where this thing, like what kind of trend this is going to settle into. My guess would be a downtrend, like, further correction. But hey, look, it is technically a decrease on inflation. So, I mean, let's look at the inflation rate chart here. I don't think they haven't quite updated it just yet. Oh, there it is. Okay. It just came in as I spoke. So higher than the forecast. It came up here. There's the dotted line to the forecast, 6.2. We got a 6.4. Well off. Like, I was way off. I was calling for a 5.8. But yeah, a 6.4, guys. that shows a huge jump on the brakes for the disinflation path that we seem to have been on for the last few months. You know, inflation's sticking. Oh dear. Oh well, that's all right. That's the way the cookie crumbles, so to speak. Really nice pullback. Sorry about the alarms there. So Noodle, hey Noodle was right. Happy dump day. It did kind of dump initially, didn't it? We'll see if it settles into that as a Let me pause these. Sorry about that, guys. Pause these alarms. They're my bonk alarms. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap this one up. I'll let you guys follow the charts at your own will or at your own leisure. I'll do the same. I'm actually probably gonna go to sleep. I'm so tired, but it's like 20 to 12 here. When I wake up, we'll know how the day's trading went for the S&P 500 and the stock market as a whole, and then we'll see how Bitcoin reacted to the stock market's performance, and yeah, we'll pick it up from there. But for in the meantime, guys, to all my fellow Australians, have a good night's sleep. To my American friends, have a great day and enjoy the volatility. If there is going to be some volatility, enjoy the trend while it lasts. But yeah, I'll catch you tomorrow morning or this evening for you guys in the US. Okay, have a good one.